to USL Live for the Season 55 Week Preview. I'm your host, Romulocks, and in tonight's show, we're going to look back at the Week 3 matches, discuss and make predictions for Week 4, and take questions from the community in our mailbag segment. Join me to discuss all that and more. I'm honored to welcome into the broadcast booth my co-host for this evening. First up, we have Kevin.
Zippity doodah.
We have Bowen.
What up?
And we have Eric.
Fuck Fosto.
For more information on the Unified Skirmish League, including schedule, rosters, or how you can be a part of this league, we ask that you please visit uslzone.com. Guys, let's jump into the Week 3 games. First up, we had Good Guys defeated Click 53-21. Your MVP was Splitta. Take it away, Kevin.
Hold on one sec. Good Guys. Got it. Okay. Good Guys played their match. They did what they wanted to do their normal corralling. But they Click was able to keep it low, which is nice to see. But it looks like Good Guys is here just going for ratio right now. They're not trying to do any blowouts. They're not trying to win by 120. Obviously, Chompy, Splitta, Fosto all doing well. Pandy, TG, everybody had 9+ kills, which is good to see. Smackrock got in. Always good to see him get in there on the Good Guys team. Good players that played well for Click. I see Brilhart, Draco, top of the leaderboard there. I think Brill played really good Ripper. He's been playing really good Ripper for everybody, or for his SBs and stuff. But yeah, just good game by Good Guys, as expected.
All right, Bowen.
Yeah, I mean, great game. That was our kind of our game plan, was to keep the score low, and I feel like we did that pretty well. We basically played our side of the map the whole time and just tried to make them come to us, and managed to pull that off pretty well. But as always, Good Guys does what they do, and they'll corral you and kind of push you into corners, and eventually they will get to you. So it's hard to keep that going, but yeah, managed to keep it again somewhat low. Shout out to Draco for that opening law kill. That was a fucking hell of a shot, and yeah, just good game to Good Guys.
Oh, and I got a question. Why the hell was Spark LMG?
He been doing pretty good with it during SBs, but yeah.
I look at it like this, right? Because Spark, we talked in the preseason that Spark was improving vastly on his Marine, and then you switch him to LMG, which you have been off and on this season, and some other players off and on. I feel like he would have been better as a Marine and you as an LMG. If that's the route you were going to go. Good job to you guys keeping the score relatively low. Again, some miscapitalization here and there. But overall, game went according to plan for Good Guys.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin that Good Guys had to come in here and just get this thing done, and that's exactly what they did. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't anything amazing, but they definitely got the job done. Good kill margins on their side. Good game to Chompy. Splitta had a good game. Fausto also had a good game. Not a lot to say on that side. Except for I think Smack probably needed to play a little better. But you know what? That's fine. On the other side, that's where the questions begin. I think the only two real standout players from the game were Brill and Draco. Outside of that, I thought that other people probably needed to do more in general. We were calling it out during the game, and we weren't even looking at kill deaths. But as it turns out, Brill and Draco are also top of that. I agree. Draco had a really great law snipe beginning there. You guys had some opportunities to do some things, and you just let Good Guys get into better positioning and push. And the results kind of tell the tale on that. I agree with what Eric's saying. I think Spark is just not the most aggressive player. And when he plays LMG, he sits back like it's a Ripper gunner, like in the very back of the field. That guy needs to be leading your charge, like on the main. And I think for that reason, I agree with Eric that Bowen, that just suits your play style better. I think Spark needs to. He's got it on the aim. He's a really good aim. I don't disagree with the call there. I disagree with it in terms of positioning. He's just not an LMG player, I don't think. And I think he was doing better at Ripper, frankly. But I think between Ripper, that's a real Bowen switch as well. I think the idea is you need to pick a class and play it consistently to improve. That would be my feedback. And probably I would put Bowen on LMG at this point. I think Brill is doing work over there at Ripper, but I think those two are somewhat more interchangeable than the Spark dynamic is. But those are my only thoughts. I mean, I don't think this is a bad loss for Click. I think it's what we expected. Although I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a fight going down from Click, to be quite honest. Let's move on to the next game. We had Monkey Business defeated K's Crew 118-3. I'm sorry, that was 118-40. Your MVP was Shasta.
I get it. Good fun. That's a ongoing thing with our squad that we always have 3 kills throughout every match because it says it on the team chat thing. But yeah, this was I was in this one. Obviously, this is my team. It's my guys. We didn't play our best, obviously. I tried to put us in good positions early. That went out the window really quick, as I think Eric was listening into what I was saying last week, saying we're going to go north, and they met us north first battle. So obviously that first setup was not going to happen. They then give us the old OK corralled us pretty heavily, and then we couldn't get anything set up or done. Again, I prefaced this at the beginning of the season. I wanted to have fun with this squad. I wanted to get everybody in. I feel like I did a good job at doing that yesterday. Although my squad mates may not be happy with how I put everybody in, but everybody got playing time. That was my goal at the beginning of the season. On the other side, Monkey Business played really well. They had their best lineup in, it looks like, I think, in my opinion. Shasta 23, Exodus 23, Ninja 22. That's a lot. And then for myself, 15 deaths is way too much. Not very good, but we'll see what happens next time we play them. Never know. Good game for
before you go,
Business.
Bowen. Kevin, did you have Exodus on your fantasy team, by the way? Because there was a certain play you avoided dying to me south and ran into the Exodus Ripper stream. I felt slighted.
I might have had him. I don't remember. I'm out of fantasy. It's possible. I try to stay alive as long as possible. So that's all I do.
All right, Bowen.
I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot to say on this one. I think everybody else kind of covered it. It was a great, well played game by Monkey Business, and Kevin called it. You guys got your guys' play time. That's always good to see. So just GG.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was Exodus saying send everybody north and me south to scout south, and it just worked out well. And from there, like Kevin said, we just kind of corralled them. So good game.
Yeah, all kudos to Monkey Business. They played a good game. I would say that we played a pretty awful game from my perspective. I get really frustrated with this map. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but this map in terms of the spawn, the baselines and the restrictions they put on your movement. Like there were a couple times we poke out south or poke out north and you wanted to readjust, but the lines are drawn in such a way that you can't readjust. Like you're just screwed. And that's kind of frustrating. It really is. But it didn't help at all that we had at least one early death in pretty much every single battle we played the entire time. And some of the worst falling I've seen from my team. Just giving up positions that we absolutely could not give up, or we let them flank our other team, which is exactly what happened. That was a little frustrating to see. But as Kevin said, everybody got playing time. Everybody got in, and that was kind of the goal of the night. And for that goal, we accomplished it. So,
I'm just glad that Rat Shas got spec'd for 2 minutes.
For Jaguar, is that who came in? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Moving on to our third game, K's Crew defeated Click 50-28. Your MVP was Typhoon.
Yeah, this was a great match to be in. Great match to just be a part of. I'm sure I'll watch it back later and be very happy with how everything played out. Typhoon being in always helps. He was very vocal. Apollo was shot calling, giving up positioning, anything going on there. Hop being in 8-1. That's a great ratio, obviously. Struggles on the other side. I think we tried to keep it to obviously our side of the base. So I think that was their struggle to try and break our little, I won't say camp, but it was a camp. Because this map is difficult. Like everybody's saying, the rape lines are in the wrong spot, so you can't flank from the north, you can't flank from the left. There's only one way to go, and that's just straight into them. So it worked out in our favor. I'll let you guys talk more about this, just because it was my team, but great effort by my guys. And I will say this: the bunch of the subs that happened. So like Jim getting subbed out. I don't know. I know you guys were saying he was lagging, but I could have turned the tides and said Brill's lagging or who's the other guy? Chuck was lagging, but I didn't. But I know Jim was lagging as well, so that happened. And then Chica DC'd somehow during the game, just randomly. I do want to mention, I know I talked to Rom about this. I panicked and just put in the first person I saw because I wasn't ready to sub a medic in, so I just put RRU in. On hindsight, I would put Rom back in. And then I had Abyss ready on the ready in case Jim came out, which is what happened. So I put Abyss right in for that. But great game to play in. That was fun.
Bowen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to. Again, the same concept as my squad, so I won't say a ton. I do think we missed on a few opportunities. We struggled, as you kind of mentioned, to get past. Like once you guys got up, you pulled to your side of the map with a nader, and we just couldn't get a comfortable push on that side. It seemed like, yeah. I mean, and going back to the Jim lag thing, yeah, we called lag check on that. He actually stayed in longer than we thought he should have, but a lot of that was because, like, I think on Marini's fine. I think AT is where it started turning like, all right, we can't see his bullets anymore, right? So, because like his normal lag shot was almost the extent of what the AT range is, and he was just basically laser beaming us. Now I did, I've heard a couple people say that Real Heart was lagging. He wasn't on my screen, so I don't know. I did hear he had some issues from the snow that weekend, maybe. So it's possible. I mean, not to say it wasn't, but obviously, we couldn't even see Jim's bullets. That was kind of where we were at. So I mean, either way, it was a great game. And like I said, we let some things get ahead of us, and we let some frustrations kick in towards the end there, and we just couldn't catch up to it. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I saw both Brill and Chuck spike. I think it was me and Mecca commentating this game. We both noticed it and was surprised that of all people Jim got spec'd. I guess it was because Jim was more consistent, if you will, and it's hard to catch a spike as a ref, right? When you're focused on all the players and not just one or two.
Right.
But I will say that Kevin mentioned they couldn't really get around on the north. Chuck and I think Abath actually got around on one of the I think like the second to last play through that building, and nobody pushed with them. If the team pushed with them, they either pull it back to like a 2-kill game, or I think they take the lead. So miscommunication there. I'd have to look back and actually look at the score to just see what the score was when that happened. But yeah, I definitely think that was the icing on the cake for you guys, and just a whole bunch of other things, which I got some mailbag questions about.
Man, I think this game was a lot closer than the final score gives it credit for, in 50-28. It was a lot tighter than that, especially for the first 15 minutes. I think one of the biggest things that did change was exactly what we're talking about here. Jim going to AT. Jim went off. He absolutely did go off at a really pivotal moment. I would like to. I'm going to start recording our games because I'd like to compare it with what Bowen just said. I watched Jim a good portion of that time, and I did not see what you guys are talking about. I mean, is there a slight like European delay? Sure, but the kind of delay that we've been living with since SL days in my world, for sure. And I would agree that on the other side, we definitely saw some lag spiking that could have been called. When Jim got spec'd, our entire team was shocked by it on this one, considering like how he had, we've seen him lag, with lag issues on previous days. This was not a particularly bad day for him. And I think it was upsetting for him. And I get that, especially when he's kind of going off. I think he got all 4 of his kills right there at the end. Otherwise, I think that we those last 10 minutes or so, we really just put it on and kept going. You had some unfortunate slips. I think the KD on Bowen, the KD on particularly on Spark. You just gotta you gotta fight for those deaths. Take one with you. There were a few moments that I think that, battles were lost just because of the numbers, just because 8v6 or 8v7 just got to lean into them. And, this is how the game finished in the first iteration of KK3 versus Click. We'll see what the second game looks like. I think it's definitely one where the second game could be real interesting. But it was a close game for most of it. Real enjoyable to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, and just to add that one more thing as well. Sorry,
Sure.
I've even told my squad like I've been playing like crap for 2 of the 3 games we've played. So it's a lot of that's on me as a player, and I told myself to a higher standard than that. I should be playing on the same level as a Brill, a Draco, or even a Fly Molo, and I'm just not. So there's a lot of things that can
Only
be fixed.
2?
I said Brill, Draco, and Fly Molo.
I think you definitely had
only
moments.
2 of the 3?
My Ripper game was fine. I didn't have great KD, but I held him at bay. That was kind of what my whole point
I think you
was.
have moments. You do get a little aggressive, and then the problem is that your team will literally drop and leave you as the front line, and it happens over and over again. I watch it. You are so far out there, and your team has fallen quick, and then they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, Bowen is the obvious sore thumb here," and they do. That's how they sweep and take you out. But I definitely think there needs to be some communication. It sounds like, I mean, just from observation, there needs to be some communication on your end as far the team's end. I mean, to say, Bowen, we're falling now. Like we're falling. Because there are always 2 or 3 stragglers on your guys' side, and those 2 or 3 stragglers. I think Champion. We're all calling the attention to Champion's post, which is a really excellent one on USL Zone. But in that, he talks about the devastating effect of retreating. And how that typically doesn't work in your favor, and I think you really exemplified that in some ways, sadly, because you are just left out there in the cold a little bit. But let's see here. Moving on to gentlemen, defeated PHCL in what will be, I think we're putting a pin in it, as the largest defeat in USL history that we're aware of. 184-44. Your MVP in that game was Havoc. Kevin?
Yeah, kind of a cluster here. I don't think PHCI had an idea of what they were going to be doing. I think they wanted to do something, and then obviously we saw little struggles today in the USL or the spec chat here on Discord, which I'm sure we'll go over in a little bit. I will just go over the one bright side for PHCI, which is again Uso. I think he's going to be eligible for Cave Beast if he stays on PHCI. But he was getting kills. He was 6 and 8. He didn't play the whole game. I think if he does, he gets even more kills. But he was getting lost snipes. He was putting damage on everybody. It was good to see that on that side. The other side, just seeing a medic get the same amount of kills as the other team's leading killer. That's a little weird or kind of crazy to think. But yeah. I know we're going to go more in depth into this, but gentlemen 4-0 right now, looking pretty good.
Just to go into that right now, does anybody know why Uzo was taken out? Has that come out? I haven't seen the discussions about that.
I have an inside source that said Bax wanted him spec'd because Uzo was gonna outrank him in kills.
Ooh. After dark.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that 100% would have happened. Uzo was going
the source.
off.
If you could PM me right now, please. Yeah.
Uzo was absolutely eating the gentleman, like just destroying him. That was a really good game for him, and I thought that the timing of him getting spec'd, we were talking about, do you play Uzo, Yeti, or BB? And at that moment, I don't think there was a question at all that Uzo was your guy. But let's turn to Bowen. What's your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, Uzo getting specced out. Like I was refereing that match, and I was listening to commentary, and just like y'all's reaction was the same as mine. I was like, why the fuck did you spec Uzo right then? Because yeah, he was 4-4 at one point there at the beginning when they were still getting rolled over. Like Uzo was doing shit. And yeah, they benched Uzo week 1. He was still kind of getting his shit together. Like yeah, I struggle with that, but. Going back to there's not a lot to say about the match itself. It is what it is, right? I will say I did go back through the seasons of FI a little bit because I'm crazy, and this was the highest FI score. I still am unsure if it beats. There was Semper versus
Semper 5 versus STL squad 190 to like 10.
Okay,
yeah, that one I knew that one was up there, but it is the highest score in FI history for sure. But yeah, S55 STL is a memorable one for sure. So
91-13. Yeah, you're right.
so yeah, but I mean, still great effort by some guys on PHCL. Obviously, some of them came out a little bit on the downside. It's just not one you hang your head about. They had one of their top 8 guys in there. So had their top 8 guys in there really overall, and they did not make that easy. So,
All right, Eric.
Yeah, I just oof is all I got from that game.
Yeah, I'm mostly. I just want to compliment a few guys. There's a lot to say about the game overall, but I thought MBX tried to do a lot as medic. I want to give him kudos for the week he had in SBs. It didn't pay off necessarily in this game, but I think he's playing better. I see the improvement. And as far as compliment to individual players, Ghost Bomber's deaths were wow, but I liked the positions he put his team in. If he was leading, which is what I understand the situation was, then I just want to compliment him on the
I
position.
think it was
okay. Was it somebody else?
Mites was leading this one. This one, for some reason.
I've heard conflicting statements about that. The truth is I don't know, and I didn't hear their comms. But Bax did well on getting his kills, but he was sniping. He was in the back, so it afforded him an opportunity to clean things up a little bit. And I do want to compliment Uzo a lot. Just outstanding play from when your team is getting outright destroyed and you're still he was a force to be reckoned with in that game, and I don't understand the decision to take him out at any point. And I certainly think we can get to it, but I think BB or Yeti, I think Uzo would be the guy I'd play over that. But to be quite honest, I put Yeti and Uzo in any lineup I make with this team. But that would just be my thoughts. Rough game all around for PHCI, PHCL, what do you want to call them? I hope they can bounce back, but as we're going to discuss it here in a little bit, it sounds like there is trouble in River City over there. So let's see here. Moving on to week 4 games. We're going forward to Morgan Base, I believe, this weekend. Times are currently unknown for these games, so we'll just talk about them in the
Lava
order.
Station.
Y Station.
Y Station. My bad. My apologies.
Or
Thank
Y
you.
Station.
Times are unknown, I believe, for these games as of right now, so we'll just talk about them in the order that I wrote them down in, which is, first of all, is Click versus Gentleman.
Yeah, this is gonna be a blowout. It's a good game to maybe see Revenge play. I know he was in the game yesterday, didn't play. I'm not sure what Pistol was thinking there. Also, so maybe CC gets playing time. You like to see some guys get playing time. Yeah, there's not much to talk about this one, so I'm just gonna stick with Gentleman beating Click. But I don't know, by a lot. And it's a pretty fast-paced map. I played it last night. There's a lot of there is a lot of hiding spots, so that's good for Click. I know Molo likes to hide. Not saying that's a bad thing. That's a great thing against these guys. But yeah, I see once they start falling early, they'll keep falling till the end. So that's all I got. Gentleman with a win.
All right, Bowen.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm on it. I have confidence in our squad, but we're not going to be gentlemen, and this is the way it is. But we're going to do what we can to keep the score low, and yeah, I won't give score predictions because you guys give my squad, but I do hope to see some guys get some playing time, and it's not the best date you guys have against PHCI, but if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. So here we are.
Eric.
Yeah, this is going to be ugly quick. Like Kevin said, this is another fast-paced map, and it's very easy to get corralled into your base. So good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be in the same boat, but I think there's been some weaknesses exposed on Click's roster. I think that Click needs to dig down deep and find something here to keep this score low. I liked what you guys did against good guys in terms of the way you slowed down the game. I think you need to do that in spades against these guys because they're just faster the way they move. I wish you the best of luck. I'm not, and hopefully guys like Revenge and CC get to play, and it'll be a more competitive game that way. But let's move on to K's Crew versus PHCL.
So maybe match of the week, maybe not. Maybe the next one is. But this should be a good one. It's gonna be It's gonna be playoff implications for sure. I love what that dude did today with MBX, shifting over the tides, giving MBX leadership now, which is great to see. Maybe they can get a little more cohesive and play a little bit better. They have a great leader. I know Ghost Bomber has been pretty good as far as leading in SBs from what I've seen. And then Might's also been playing a really good AT. So if MBX can, give them just call outs or positions or saying what's wrong, then maybe they could pull this off for sure. I'm not going to play this like it's going to be a blowout. I'm going to play the best players who are logging into this week. We're going to try and SB as much as we can. But I do see us winning in the end. I think let's get relatively close, maybe 2 battles. I'll say 14 just to be safe, but never know. Like I said, they could win. I don't think they will. I think we're going to pull it off as long as we show our guys and we're ready to go.
Bowen?
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a fun game to watch. I think PHCI has put in some work as in the season with practice. I'm not, we'll be curious to see how the changing of the guard and everything affects people at all. Obviously losing backs it's a mouth you don't have to listen to anymore, but it's also a talent you do lose. But you don't have a sniper, and that's hit or miss opinions on that. So it could go one way or the other as far as positive or negative. I see this being very close or being a blowout, and if it's very close, it could be a very great match one way or the other. So I'm gonna say KK3 wins this by about 20. But I just hope it's a good game, honestly.
Well, we all know Manu's going to show for this one and play. So I give the advantage to Case Crew. I do like Might's soloing better than who K's Crew has to solo, but he just has to watch out for the ambushes that Kevin's probably gonna put out for him. And hopefully Uzo has another big game. It's really gonna come down to him and Mites really, and maybe if Bird can step up a little bit, play a little bit better. But I do think K-Screw wins because of the pace of the map, probably by 20, maybe 30.
Yeah, I agree. I also want to compliment Mites. I didn't say him earlier. I thought he played a daggone good job on Sunday, as well as you could given that score line and what happened in that game. He had some moments that were flashes that were really fun to watch. And I do think he's turned into a pretty solid AT. I don't know exactly who we would use to counter. I don't. We as Kevin's saying, I don't exactly know what the lineup's going to be. I have some general ideas of what the lineup will be. I think if the lineup that we are our best, if they're playing at their best, we win this game pretty handily, and I think by a similar score to Click, if not a little more. But it kind of depends on how we play, and it depends on what PHCL throws back at us. Speaking of back at us, I think backs being gone. That's going to be one of the questions I ask here in a second, so I'll just go ahead and tease that. But I think that backs is one of the biggest threats for the way that we play. And without him, being there, that does expose some things in my mind, some opportunities for us that we didn't otherwise have. We'll see how PHCL comes together this week, what kind of special classes they run on Sunday. But I really think the loss of backs favors us quite a bit. And, we'll see on Sunday. This is a big game for playoffs. This is kind of a deciding game in some ways. So we'll see how it pans out. But I'm thinking a 25 kill victory for K's Crew. All right, let's go to the mailbag. The original question here was
you're
one more match.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did.
Jesus Christ.
My bad. Game of the week I tried to skip too. Monkey Business versus Good Guys. My bad. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, this one's game of the week. I just looked over it again. But this should be good. This is 2 teams that don't want to lose. They definitely want to get that either second seed Don't think they're going to get first, but they want that second seed for sure. Then they'll get a weaker opponent. Or it's going to be, they'll probably play each other in the playoffs, actually. But either way, they want that second seed just for bragging rights then. I love that Deadly Eddie's on their squad now. If he gets in, he won't, I'm sure. But I love that pickup. I love seeing that. But if Monkey Business shows their guys, which they showed last night, I think is their best chance because they had a really good lineup in, which we couldn't do. We couldn't give them a kill for the first like 15 minutes of the match. For that matter, if Nin shows, I think it's always a good thing for them. On the other side, good guys, they're always going to show their top 8. It's a matter of which top 8 is going to play. Does Split play? Does Ernie play now that he's newly added to the team? That's always a great question. I'm sure somebody will ask about that. So in my opinion, I have good guys winning this one just for the fact that they have better leadership. I think TG is just a way better leader. Not any knock towards Leak. I know Leak is a great leader, but I think TG is just in that upper echelon of leaders, along with Sav, obviously. So I do give good guys the win in this one, especially on this map. I think it favors them. So I have good guys winning by, let's say, 13.
Bowen?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I think I have said before, Monkey Business is the team that can do some interesting things from that, I think, projected third position we've given them. This is going to be the real question of who is the real second seed here. And it may not even be answered this match, may have to be answered the next time they beat each other, right? I do think if Monkey Business shows the 8, as you mentioned, that showed yesterday, I agree. This is going to be a game, and good guys can't take these guys lightly, but good guys have also been turning it on here recently. So I do give the edge to good guys just because of that sheer firepower and the sheer cohesion, especially if somebody like Ernie does play. But it's going to be a close one. I would say good guys by 10. Like, this could be real tight.
I'm going to start off by saying if we play like we did the first 15 minutes against Gentlemen, we should win this, no problem. If we don't, then it could get ugly because of the pace of the game, or pace of the map. However, I have faith in my guys. This is going to be cocky of me to say, I guess, but I think we're winning by 15.
Yeah, I think it's definitely cocky to say. I think it comes down to who shows up. This is a big game for who's there. Because if the best rosters are there for both teams, I think good guys wins this big. But if anybody's missing, then that becomes a different question. Ninja is such a huge one for Monkey Business. I think Samara is a big one for Monkey Business. If those guys are there, definitely more competitive. And if one guy is missing on that top lineup for good guys, be it Tactical, be it Rio, be it any of them, that becomes a much different question. I'll be interested to see who the starting lineups are for both teams. I think that'll be a good indicator for what playoffs will be like for both these teams. But right now, I think good guys probably have it by 15. But if Monkey Business pulls off an upset, this will be one exciting match to watch, and I will be there for it. So, good guys for me are the winners right now, but definitely match of the week. Now, let's move on to the mailbag. So the original question I got was, who is the Michael Jordan, a.k.a. the greatest player, the Magic Johnson, a proven winner / flashiest player, and the LeBron James, meaning the consistent team player in this? And they give me...
The consistent flop?
Yeah, I was questioning some of these characteristics as well. But I think the idea being the best player, the flashiest, and the team player. Okay, those are the categories. And then they gave me 3 or lists of players to put this on. So, Sov, Champion, and Iron. Who is the best player, who's the flashiest, and who's the team player?
I think in that order, Sov, Champion, Iron.
Okay, Champion's the flashy.
Best player, Sov. Yeah, Champion's flashy because he likes to play those different classes. AT, Demo, all that stuff. Sov is the leader. the one that shot calls, like takes over for Pister when he's not leading, and then Iron is just team player.
Does anybody disagree with that, Bowen or Eric?
I'm gonna say Iron's the flashiest. He makes Med look fun, man. If you rewatch our game against them, he lived against like 4 people, managed to bio dart himself off the wall to stay alive, and then regrouped with his team.
He is a baller.
So,
It does make it exciting.
Iron is the flashiest.
Yeah, darts have definitely changed the game for him. Yeah, I'm not sure between the two of them. Champion is a lot of fun to watch though, especially when he's on a tear. It is a little bit like watching one of the best players, like and Julius Irving or something like that, just go to town on a team and they just can't stop him. Champion just gets on a run and there's just no holding that guy back. In a way that, I mean, Sav is amazing, but Sav is consistently amazing. Champion does have spurts of just absolute greatness, especially with the laws. But yeah, I'd probably go with what Kevin said in that exact order. Let's move on to maybe a more challenging one. Leak, Danny, and Axidus.
Ooh, let me think. I think it's probably the same thing. I think Leak best player, Danny flashiest, and then Axidus team player.
Is Danny's
like
flashiest
the Ripper?
A virtue of him playing Ranger, or is it that he has that type of player?
Yes.
I think
Ranger.
right now in the past, yeah, Ranger.
As
It's
Ranger.
been like 3 seasons now he's been doing it, and it's flashy.
Yeah. Bowen, any disagreement?
Like you see some such fun shots pop out of him playing Ranger, right? So I mean, I think just that makes him flashy on that. And Axis is such a team player. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Axis does a really good job with secondhand leading. He's very vocal if you haven't played with him, and I definitely like the Ripper bullets he puts down, or even his streams when he's on something else. Like they're just very team oriented. I'm not trying to necessarily get the kill, although he definitely wants it, but he's more concerned with the team picking up the kill at all. So I agree with that.
I would just take Leak off that list. If you heard him in our match against K's crew, please let me get the kill. Please let me get the kill. Please let me get the kill. You would take him off that list.
Category.
Let's go to this is an interesting one because there's 4 people on this one. Chompy, Gift, Tactical, and Rio. Who's the best player? Who's the flashy? And who is the team player?
If it's right now, I say Rio. If it was like a couple seasons ago, I say Ernie. That's all. I don't think any of them are flashy.
Oh, I think
Or- I
Chompy's
think
flash.
Flash.
Yeah, Chompy is the flash.
Yeah, you're right. Chompy's the flash. Yeah, you're right. And then team player, probably TG.
Yeah, that would be my list
I can
right
see
there.
that.
Rio, Chompy, TG, and Ernie has to fight his way back into that roster. Once one of the greatest players of this game, but where has he gone? Oh my, how the mighty have fallen. Let's go between Sav and Champion. Which player is actually more valuable? My reports tell me that Champion believes he is the reason for Sav's continued success. However, Sav is consistently labeled the best player in the zone by many, if not most. Is Champion just another bus rider on the Sav train, or is there merit to Champion's claims? And will the two ever actually compete against one another, or are they forever joined at the dicks? To remind people, Champion is a 24-time USL champion, the highest rated USL player, the deadliest USL player, 4-time league MVP, 5 times most kills award winner, and 2 times support award winner for some reason.
That's a ridiculous question.
Kind of is, yeah.
I don't know how to tackle it.
I would say Sav just because of the leadership aspect.
True.
Yeah, I think if you
That's
put
it.
Sav on any team, it makes him that much better. If you put Champion on a team, it makes him better. But I think Sav could win games on other teams, and Champion maybe not.
I think Champion adds a lot to any team, but doesn't that he does great calling when he does get on mic, but he also just does like he's just an amazing player in general to watch. And as you mentioned, Sav can play any class. He can play even medic, at the highest caliber. And yeah, just as a player, I think Sav does that. And the question about them being joined to the dicks, like we've seen Champion do being solo several times, right? Like in the past without Sav. So he can do fine without him.
Do we see them ever splitting up?
I think they enjoy playing with each other, and maybe I'm wrong on that. I mean, Eric, you would know more than anybody else, I think. But
They enjoy trolling each other, so they're not going to leave each other's side.
fair. That's fair.
Mecca actually asked us an addendum question that I like. Wherever that went, would KK3 rather add Iron Sov or Champion? Kevin, that's a question to you.
Yeah, if I had to pick, it would be Sav. Like he just leads and just says everything. You don't have to say anything. He'll let you know where everybody should be and what's going on and where everybody is for the other team.
Also, he has the versatility.
Iron's great.
He plays at a level 10 on every position.
Yeah, anything. You can play med, you can play AT, he could tell you what you're doing wrong. He'll yell at you after you come home from an 8-hour shift. Does it all.
Okay, just a reminder that I don't write these questions. They were sent to me. So this one has been answered a little bit, but I'm going to ask it because it was asked. Rom is an important part of K's crew's success, so it was surprising to see him benched in one of the most important games of the season. Can Kevin explain the reasoning behind his decision to bench him in that game?
Wild. Solve question. No, I think Chica's earned her spot. She's been on almost every night now, and I decided to put her in. And then I messed up with the sub when she got spec'd, so that's my bad on there. But yeah, I think Chica deserved her spot this one.
Absolutely.
I think Chica's more consistent than Rom.
I don't disagree, and I think Chica's having a hell of a season as well. I think her game 1 and 2 of the season were some of the best games I've ever seen from her, quite frankly. Let's see here. Looking ahead to this weekend, are PHCL's odds to beat K's crew higher or lower without backs on the roster, and why?
I think it's higher because now team morale is there. As long as everybody digs into what MBX is gonna tell them, and then what BB can assert himself maybe a little bit more as far as a team leader. I think it's more.
That is an interesting question as well. Honestly, it's because if Torch comes in and replaces that lost position, right? If Torch plays, awesome, right? That's you really didn't lose a lot of combat power because Torch is a good player. But I do think, again, as you mentioned, that team morale is a big part, and you lose a lot whenever your team is stressed every time they're online, right? And you deal with a situation like the loss of something like this, and yes, he's a high combat player, but how much drama does he bring every week, right? So I mean, double-edged sword. I think that's an interesting question to ask, and I'm curious to see how it goes for sure. I'm kind of on the fence.
I'll take the contrarian view.
Here's the thing.
If it's okay, I said this earlier, and I just want to reiterate that I think that Bax was one of the biggest killing factors on that squad. I think that he, a lot of the fights that we have in our scrimmages with them, he picks us apart, and without his sniper bullet or him looking to finish that kill, we would not have died. But for those deaths, it would end up being, we just sweep it. So I think that Bax not on there changes the dynamic a lot in terms of our survivability, and I think that's a mistake. But in terms, I get the morale issue very much. I understand, and I think that is a cost-benefit analysis for sure. But I think it kind of cuts in favor of Bax ultimately, just because of how much killing he can do, especially with guys like Mites and Uzo. We're actually doing the killing with him. I think that becomes extremely deadly. And against a team like K's crew, I mean, you got a really good shot with that kind of firepower. So I personally, I would not have, definitely not trade him for Torch, who I think is very unlikely to make the game.
Yeah, here's the thing. I know for a fact, yes, Bax is a troll. He'll troll in team chat. He'll troll all throughout the week. But come game time, unless it's against gentlemen where they know they're going to get stat padded, he locks in. And there's no drama on the comms, right? So losing your best effective killer, right? As Rom said, on top of Uzo and Mites, I think you have less of a chance to beat Case Crew 3.
All right. I'm going to call this as the dead horse question. We have asked it in repeated weeks now, but this one, I guess, has a little bit of a variation, so we'll go with it for the final time. unless something changes, in which case it brings it back up this week, which is totally possible against Monkey Business. Tactical has joined with Good Guys as predicted, and word on the street is now that Kaga is going to join up with Good Guys to make the playoff run against Gentlemen. This has resulted in an age-old problem. Which two current starters would sit to allow Tactical and Kaga to enter? And I'll just say, I think Smack obviously would know that his position would be filled there. It's a question about the second, I think, really.
I mean, Smack isn't an overall starter, so he's irrelevant to this question.
Well, I mean, as of last night, I don't know who would be starting without those two guys.
Rio sat for Smack.
Oh, he sat last night.
So Rio would have been in. Yeah. I mean, with those two back, it's got to be the new guys on the roster, right? It's got to be Pandy and Split.
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to see what their 8 would be. Like, I guess Fax with Med, right?
Yeah, Fax up to Med.
Fax, Blob, Meds, and then Ernie, TG, Rio, Fausto, Chompy.
Kaga is shouting fake news in chat.
I don't know.
And Tactical is saying Pandy is family. I love the drama farming on this question. Why I agreed to ask it. It's an interesting question. I think you're right. I think Split and Pandy are probably the two on the chopping block earliest. I think you have to play Kaga and Ernie, right? You have to. Especially when you're looking for a reunification of the Warhawks crew, the last team that was able to beat Sav. I think, if you add those two to this roster, that's probably the only way they win.
Would Kaga LMG over Rio?
Ooh, now that's maybe a better question.
I mean, I think Rio can play Marine just fine, right?
Yeah, and Kaga is a god at LMG. I think you raise Kaga from like an 8 to a 9. Legitimately, by just that change.
A god is stretching it a little bit.
His accuracy on the LMG, especially in the championship match, was insane.
Yeah, his LMG around corners and just pushing up is one of the best. I think it rivals Rio for best LMG.
Any other comments on this one, or moving on?
No.
Okay, we'll move on. After the results of PHCL's loss on Sunday to Gentlemen, 184-44, should USL look into implementing a mercy rule after the season is over? It's clear that watching a team lose by 100-plus kills just isn't entertaining for people watching or for players on the receiving end.
Yes and no. I think it's stats are a thing. Everybody loves their stats, and it'll skew things. Although these stats won't technically count if PHCI can't make it to the playoffs. So maybe a mercy rule can happen. I don't know. I guess we'll discuss it.
For the purpose of stats, that's an interesting question too, because I think this is a run-up game that could affect stats for sure, and it will. Should we implement 100-kill mercy rule that just like crossing baselines automatically ends it? I was thinking something in my mind of the moment you cross that 100-kill threshold, game over.
Maybe that. Yeah, because if it's 100, you're usually not within 100. Like, it's not going to be 100 to like 90. It's going to be 100 to 50.
Yeah,
or 100 to 60 maybe.
I think it was like 125 when they crossed it. It was like 125 to 24 or something like that last night. Somewhere around there. I think that at that point, like we had 9 minutes left in the game. It's like, this is silly. Like,
that's probably better. Yeah, getting at least let them get their stats. Let them get their 100 kills, because that's usually a threshold in like SBs. Like, oh, you let them get 100. So that's a good point.
What do you think about what Abbott is saying here? That if that threshold is met, then maybe the ref goes into captain's chat and says, "Do you want to forfeit?" I personally would probably do it as an automatic implementation. But
no, I feel like that should be at the captain's discretion, because, as somebody said, I forget who, a lot of the lower tier squads are going to want to play the full 30 minutes. So it should be at captain's discretion.
Yeah, but just a thought to throw it out there. You can take the gamesmanship away from like assume that this was the other end, and maybe somebody wanted to help good guys overcome gentlemen. Well, they could just launch themselves at good guys in waves and let them kill them all the way up to 200 plus kills. You know what I mean? We could eliminate all of that in one go, and just everybody's capped to 100. Just a thought.
Makes sense. Yeah, we talked about, I'm sure.
All right. With the debate and complaining about stack squads, is there anything that USL could try and implement to level the playing field if players refuse to play with lower caliber players? Is there an advantage that you could give to lower level teams, like an extra player or two, maybe for a limited amount of time or the entire game?
We've seen how 8v10 works in SBs. It don't matter.
Right.
And implementation of anything we've tried in the past, and it's almost killed the league several times. So
it is a rickety bridge that you're asking to cause the entire league to collapse on. Like it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I kind of agree. All right. Well, those are my questions. Eric, let's go to yours next.
All right. I'll start with this one. Again, reading all mine verbatim. Eric, you often comment on people's positioning or awareness being poor. For those trying to improve, what are the most common mistakes you see being made from a fighter, med, or a leader from a low-tier squad? And I'm just going to say, Champion posted an excellent guide on the USL website, so check that out.
Okay.
So get that one right out of the way.
Follow Champion's tips. Eric doesn't even have to say it. It's in written format. Go look at that.
Yep. Let me see here.
And as Becca said, get
too.
good, kid. Forgot about that tip.
Yeah. All right. Bax called it 2 weeks ago that MBX was manipulating Josh and eventually going to take over and kick him. Today that happened. MBX is a nobody in USL, and that dude is allowing him to do this. Why? Bax squatted with that dude for 19 seasons and never kicked him. Along comes a ginger gremlin and erases all that loyalty between Bax and that dude.
Hi, Bax.
Does PHI have a shot at winning another game with Bax gone and trash LMG Big Bird, who's stuck in the past, who can't lead to save his life, and draw stupid diagrams that mean nothing?
I get the idea.
Verbatim, we got it.
I will take the prognostication on this, and I will go ahead and say, to the questioner's credit, not saying who that was, but I will say that I don't think they win another game this season. I don't. I think that taking backs out of the equation takes away a lot of the threat of this team and what they can do. And even if they came together, I don't think they have the personnel over there to even win against Click next time around without backs. Maybe Ghost Bomber goes off, but he needs to get freed up and he needs to unrust quickly. But I just don't see the personnel over there unless Mites and Uzo play out of their minds against Click in round 2. So, yeah, I don't think they win another game.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think I've had inside sources say that they are playing better without him. Bax, that is. I think the team doesn't like his play style at times from my inside sources. This is all inside. And I think they're better off without him. I know he's a menace on the spec chat. It's never a good thing. And I know that dude wasn't the one that kicked him. That dude changed course, gave his leadership to MBX. MBX is the one that kicked him. In the past, I know Bax has left that dude out to dry. And that dude tried to flourish with Hellcats. He took over Hellcats. Just saying that. It was never that dude's fault. Okay.
TD is really the unsung hero of USL. That's really what I'm getting out of your response. Let's move on. Bowen to Eric, any thoughts on this one?
Heart of Gold.
I agree with Kevin.
I think the only chance they have is possibly beating Click again with how Click is playing. But other than that, I don't see them possibly pulling up the possible upset that they could have had over K-Screw 3.
Yeah. All right. What you got next, Eric?
All right. Who is currently the most toxic squad in USL?
No, I think this week sort of answered that one, didn't they?
I don't know if we think like it's an obvious one. I mean, PHCL, right?
I haven't heard
Like-
rumblings from any other squad actually at all. There's only one squad
All
with
season.
rumblings. Everybody else seems to be meshing pretty well. I don't know. This is unfortunate to be part of PHCL right now. That's for sure.
Right now.
Well, maybe before. I don't know. I wasn't in their chats to speak to what Kevin
We
said.
talked about how insane that whole squad chat would have been prior to now, and they've been
Maybe
proving
it-
it like week to week. It's nuts.
I don't know. Any other thoughts or nominations on that for any other squad?
No.
Okay.
This one came out of left field. Does Mercy have the most bench rings in USL history? And could Back surpass him if he changed his personality and became a better person?
I think that speaks to Mercy's credit, actually. That might be true. Mercy is such an underrated player. Like, he can play pretty much anything serviceable, like very serviceably. And I mean, you're not losing a whole lot when you put Mercy in as a Marine, as your 7th or 8th Marine. No matter who you had in there, he's going to play okay. And as a medic, he's very, very fine. And as a Marine, he's one of our best Marines. So I thought we missed him this weekend. Actually, I think he had, I can't remember what it was, storm related issues maybe. But we missed him this weekend, and I just want to compliment Mercy a lot. He's a great dude. Love him. Been on many teams with him now.
Mercy's my
Anybody else
dude.
got anything to add to that?
Nah.
No, Mercy's my dude. I like Mercy.
Yeah, I like Mercy.
Yeah, Mercy, a good guy. All right. What the hell is going on with Click?
I think we've
Is that the whole
Also-
That was the
question?
question.
also beat that dead
That is the
horse.
whole question.
Period.
First,
I'm gonna say it. Go ahead.
I was just to summarize the drama. It's a lot of. We talked at the beginning of the season about a lot of personalities that are really strong on one team. Sounds like there's been a power struggle, and now Bax is out of that power position and removed entirely. And it sounds like BB has completed the coup d'état. That's what I can understand from
We're
an
talking about
outsider.
Click, not PHCL.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What is going on with Click? A completely different question.
All right, so I'll start because you just threw that way off. I think Bowen needs to sit.
The way I've been playing lately, I don't agree.
agree.
Don't disagree, honestly.
I agree to an extent that the Dark Slayer mentality is kind of leaving him out to dry a little bit, but I think that Trax deserves to get a spot right now with how Bowen is playing.
I would like to see, I said this in squad chat earlier, I'm going to be stepping my game up to where I know I need it to be. And if I can't do that, I want someone else on squad to prove that they belong in that spot. We've said in our squad chat that our top 8 is fluid and deserves to, and at this point, and anybody could take a spot at any point. And so it's been 25. You're not wrong, Tactical. Like I've been like ass, honestly. And I've said it. I said it in squad chat. I've struggled at least 2 of the 3 games. I said my Ripper game was fine, but I didn't get the kills. I just kept people at bay. I've definitely had some issues with it this season, and so the way I'm playing right now, I don't disagree. I should be on the bench, and I've said like I'm going to step my game up, and if I can't do it, fucking sit me.
But
Like,
who do you
I'm
play in
your
your spot? I agree. I don't think anybody. Like, I'm looking at it right now. I don't see who you're getting a better performance out of. Where is Devil Dog? I haven't seen him in a while. Where Driftwood has not logged in as far as I'm aware of. Darth, I haven't seen. And I
But
just
here's
don't-
the thing,
Llama.
If the current isn't working, you got to do something to change it up. Because
I think
you
it's-
shouldn't have dropped a game. You shouldn't have dropped a game to Phenylephrine, regardless. I get that Uzo played great and everything, but that should not have happened.
No, I agree. I go ahead, Kevin. I'll let you do your thing first.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily all Bowen.
Me neither.
You can throw Spark's name in there. Spark had
For sure.
2 like back-to-back 1-8 games. It looks like Bowen is very vocal. I think having you in the game isn't that terrible, even if your game like you play fine with your vocal leadership. I think that's where your aspect of having like being useful is being vocal. I think the deaths have to go down. Obviously, maybe just stick to next to medics so you can be that vocal leader. Because if Molo goes down, you're the one that's got to be calling stuff. From what I'm seeing on the outside, and then there's like who comes in. I guess it's just Llama is the only other person.
Yeah, Llama is
suitable
probably the
to
most obvious
be in there.
sub there, but I think there's a call to the other players. Like there is a spot. I don't mean to be a dick to advertise your spot here, Bowen, but there is a spot for another player like on that team just anyway. And I don't understand some of the guys that are switching it up, like even Deadly Yeti or Chaos Blade. Both of those guys, I think, would be a natural fit over there and would immediately start and be a big difference on this team right now. Molo just needs help. And there's a lot of guys that could do it. I mean, guys that aren't necessarily going to get a lot of playtime where they are. But if any of these guys on your roster that aren't showing up, show up, that would be helpful too. Devil Dog taking over Medic and letting Suicider even come into the Marine might be a good thing. Although I think your medics seem to be pretty locked up.
Take that trade, Molo. Take that trade.
I think and again, I said it in the squad chat, like, and I agree. I've had my struggles, but I think we've all kind of had some struggles. I think there's a few guys who have really consistently played extremely well, and I think that a lot of us have just been really inconsistent. We talk about putting Trax in. I would like to see Trax not be out in front. Like, not to call him out or anything, but he's also out in front in SBs a lot, so we got to watch. I've told him this vocally to his face, and he knows this, right? He gets a little out in front too. Similar concept as some of my deaths, but his is almost expounded, right? Llama has some positioning issues, but his aim is insane, right? Because Llama's still kind of figuring out the positioning side of the world. There's a lot of things that I really want people to step up on, and if you do it better than me, fucking do it. Like, right, especially the way I'm playing, and I've been playing right now, I will gladly sit if I'm struggling. Like, fucking sit me. But if I can get my game back up to the level I know I can be at, I intend to keep my spot. But I need to prove it, and that's where I'm sitting. So,
All right, Eric, any others?
Oh yeah. All right, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but why do players like Pandy, Chuck, and Bro continue to be allowed to warp in matches, but Jim gets specced for his bullets being quote-unquote fast?
Justice for Jim.
Yeah, I agree.
I think a lot of it is like, so looking at it from a ref standpoint, right? Like, Jim is almost always underwatched because he's always like right on the edge, just a little bit, right? Like sometimes he's just under it, like, and perfectly fine. Other times he's kind of sitting really close, like he's really tight on the edge, of just like being on that lag check. We talk about like in Jim's issues during that game. Like, yes, he was really hard to follow on AT because the bullets are just harder to see, but we also, like, before the match even started, we were looking at him because, like, he was running in to get just be, the normal thing when people are shooting at each other before the match starts. He ate streams, like, nonstop from 3 people and just sat there and tanked it all. Like, there's times like that where you look at it and it's just like, yeah, now he's under our watch. And so you're automatically going to get some when you're lagging already and you're under watch the entire time, you're going to spike to a point where you're going to get specced. And whereas like people like Brill and Chuck who don't normally lag that badly are just not on their radar and they don't get seen. I didn't see it when it happened either. They were on the other side of the map from me in most cases. So
yeah, just like you didn't see Pandy warp 5 times a few seasons ago when I was
don't
calling
go
it
there.
out on commentary.
Don't go there.
Is there a way we can have like the refs see like HP? So if they see the guy getting hit, can we see their HP go down? If it doesn't go down, then that's a telltale that they're lagging.
There used to be a time where refs would team join.
Correct.
Yeah. Maybe that we do that.
But then, so it's also a matter of like, you got to make sure you have at least 2 refs at all times, right? And that's not always the case. It's usually there is, but then like there's also, it also messes with your vision if you're teamed on one side, so you can't necessarily see the team as well. You kind of see what the one team sees. So
Maybe it's a power that we can give somehow. I don't know if Axis
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Honestly.
just refs have the power to see HP.
Well, here, man, I'll say this again. I said it a couple seasons back. We need to, as a league, start to have some grace for these people, and they're maybe a little bit higher than normal plus, or because otherwise, like from my perspective, and I think from my team's perspective, I don't know about Kevin, so I'm not going to answer for him, but I would start requesting lag checks on everybody. We'll do it on Brill every single time from now on. If you're going to call it on Jim, I'm going to call it on Brill. Otherwise, we can let like sleeping dogs lie on both sides and understand that there's a little bit of give and take unless it's like really bad. Or we can everybody just call each other out. We could just watch people get picked off, left and right every game. And one of the way, you guys decide how we want to play, but it's going to be one way or the other. And definitely there were 2 players last night we could have called it on your side. And in the future, I'm going to encourage that we do it.
Call it on Brill. I don't care. Like, call it. I don't really give a shit. I'm going to call it on Jim if he eats 3 streams before the match starts, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
you would have lost 2 players last night. If you want to lose 2 players for one
if he
Jim,
lags, fucking call it. I don't care. Like, that's the way it works.
All right.
Call the damn lag.
Then we'll do that. Okay. Issue resolved.
No. Keep this going. Anyways, next question. Did Pister try to go 10s knowing it would cause drama with phenylephrine?
Say the beginning of that. I'm sorry, it cut off for me a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Did Pister try to go 10s knowing it would cause drama? Yeah, with phenylephrine.
I have no idea. I heard that they were asking for 10s and it was denied on the other side. That's all I know. I mean, if it had been 10s, that score would have been astronomical.
Just
I don't read
you
your
did not
chat
want to go
GPT responses, okay?
If anything, if Pister wanted to go 10s, it would have been for a bigger blowout somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, true. I actually don't think Pister asked for 10s. Okay. Are you surprised Bax was kicked? Why are Sov and the boys so upset by the move?
I think they enjoy the drama. So they enjoy reading it, and now it's not happening. So
It's just a very blunt way. I agree. I think everybody enjoys the Bax drama a little bit.
Yeah. Who didn't enjoy watching that spec chat today? I think everybody was looking in.
I mean, how many reactions does the activity log have at this point?
Yeah, it was, and a follow-up question to that pertains to that was, what the fuck just happened after 1,000 messages in like an hour?
You can go back to my misunderstood question, and I laid it out very briefly. The power struggle. And
there you go.
BB has won.
All right. My final question is... Last season, the gentleman experienced less of an embargo when Splitta was on the team. Is this because a team isn't capable of being stacked with a player of Splitta's caliber in the lineup, or maybe for some other reason?
I think I said this in the spec chat. When Splitta was there, they SB'd. And now Splitta's not there, no SBs. Just throwing it out there.
I think a lot of it may have to do with the fact, because I have a similar question like this. I mean, people are scheduling SBs a day or more ahead of time right now, right? So,
dude, it's fucking ridiculous. I'm at work and I'm seeing messages in Discord saying, "Hey, it's like it's noon. Hey, we got an SB at 11 o'clock with good guys." Like, what the fuck?
It's every day. You're right.
I did get one more question. Why did Big Bird spec himself after going 0-2 in the beginning of the match?
I have no insight on that, but I actually was curious myself.
Bird, you're in here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Big Bird. Here we go. He's typing. He wasn't supposed to be in.
TD says Big Bird wanted Yeti to play.
Yeti, right? Yeah, he did. I think Yeti was in, and he immediately got specced in that match. And I think
it was an unfortunate specking. What did he cross baselines or something like that?
Crossed.
Yeah. So I think the intention was to get him.
I don't know. In response to Bax, he doesn't play him. He played the full match against us, and we blew y'all out on Kaiser's Pass. So don't think that pertains.
I don't know.
Still a blowout though.
All right.
Yeah, I still don't get the benching of Uzo, but go ahead. That was my last question.
No, that's exactly. I'm right there with you. I didn't understand it. A lot of questions on that game, but I think Big Bird, in my opinion, is definitely in the best starting 8 on that roster. I think he'd be good at leading that team, especially giving Ghost Bomber and Ghost Bomber, Mites, and if Bax were there, you actually have some pieces there if everybody could work together. But without Bax, it makes it a lot more difficult. That's my final comment on that. Let's see here. Kevin or Bowen, any final questions that we have not asked to this point?
I have 3 that don't mix. Yeah.
I have a couple.
So Kevin first.
Yeah. Okay. Here's one. Hi, brother. Send app and let's put our bad blood to rest. You know you need a strong LMG. Oh wait, that's not a question. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Verbatim question.
Damn it, Kevin.
Infantry has been a breeding. Infantry has been a breeding ground of negativity and trolling. Can the panel do a positivity exercise and go around the table and say something nice about someone in the community?
I like this. Who are we talking about? Who are we complimenting today?
I think I want to thank that dude for starting a squad and then handing over to MBX. Thank you, that dude.
I want to thank MBX for being for putting in the work, turning out to be a pretty decent medic, showing up every single night to SB with his team. It sounds like keeping the faith and getting above the negativity on that squad. TD gets compliments a lot from us in that respect, but MBX is kind of a newcomer to that role, and I would give kudos to him.
I want to shout out the ref that kept Shasta in spec for 2 minutes, completely acknowledging the rule and keeping that mooch in spec.
Positive, negative there. I'm not gonna go MBX because you guys did, so I'm just gonna say I'm gonna send some appreciation out to Smackrock, who has been busting his ass this season as a ref, and even put together like an updated version of the ref guidelines, and really did a good job with it. So I mean, great fucking work from him, and he's done a lot of shit, so I appreciate him.
And as Tactical said, shout out to all the staff. They do a lot of stuff to make every Sunday work that you guys never see, and I kudos to every single person, especially Mercy not being able to be there. We immediately start to realize how much stuff Mercy does too when he's not there. So,
and then one other question: just who are the top candidates for the Hog, the Heart of Gold? Anybody have any like top 2 people? Maybe
I'd throw MBX in there for sure.
Yep.
Honestly, it's a tie between 2 people on the squad, right? It's MBX and that dude.
Yeah,
that dude started the squad, and then MBX is really just trying to keep it all together, right?
Yeah,
agreed.
Yep, taking over. 1 and 2.
Pister said you guys are complimenting a guy who kicked 3 players. That's
Heart of Gold.
Heart of Gold.
Heart of Gold, brother.
All right, Bowen, that's all I got. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I still got it. So one of them was kind of answered, but you guys will leave that one out. So who is the panel's ranked 2 and 3 squad, and why, considering we're going to those matches this weekend? I think you guys kind of said it really. So I think overall feeling was that good guys would win that match.
Yeah. I mean, I think Eric difference is the difference vote. We'll see this Sunday what that comes out. But right now, I think Good Guys is clearly number 2. Monkey Business clearly number 3. I think there's still a step for Monkey Business to go to be in competition with number 1 or 2, and they're not going to be able to make that jump this season. That's my view right now.
Cool. So the next question is Foster being too strict with the recent banning of Eva and the silencing of Bax and CT.
The Eva, no.
I don't
100%.
Yeah, no. Money can't be flying around.
honestly, I almost would have banned Eva like eternally because of that whole situation. But that's because I'm an asshole.
Again, if you, we'll talk about this in a minute, but if you want to read the full violation report, it's available on Discord, I think. She has been banned for the season, and it sounds like the other two were just silenced. I mean, these are repeated issues, and even though we're a small community, we can't have no discipline. That just can't happen. And there are certain things that you cross a line, and that line is a big one. And it sounds like Eva crossed some major lines, not just with me, but with other people.
Yep, and continues to do so. That's Eva. Last question. Has USL run its course? Is it time to focus on other zones like Soccer Brawl?
Soccer Brawl and EOL when?
Agreed.
I'd love to see another league started up, but USL is the only reason this game exists.
Honestly, not wrong. But I would love to see a Soccer Brawl like between season league happen or something like that. That'd be great.
Yeah, I would love to participate in that.
Nobody cares about CTF, are you?
Kind of.
All right. Bowen, is that your final question?
That was it.
All right. Well, if I can type this in the right way. Guys, we want your mailbag questions. If you have any questions that you want our panel to answer, you can feel free to send them to myself or Eric directly on Discord or uslzone.com. We'll put the questions together as we did tonight. Maybe if you want to send them to the entire panel, we'll just ask them and get them in there. So please submit the questions early rather than just an hour before the show if possible. USL Week 4 games are coming this Sunday, February 1st. We're expecting that at least 2 out of 3 games are going to be extremely competitive. Also, the roster lock doesn't kick in for another week yet, so make your last-minute trades or buckle in for the rest of the season. New players are also always welcome. As we just talked about, Eva has been banned from USL Season 55. Details are available on the USL Live Discord page as to her many violations. I will just say that USL Live supports decisions made by staff. And that'll do it for USL Live in the Season 55 Week 4 preview. You can play Infantry for free. Download the game on Steam. Just type Free Infantry in the search bar or visit freeinfantry.com. If you're interested in league play, go to uslzone.com. Be sure to check out all the available videos on the Infantry Online YouTube page, built and maintained by military police. You can relive the nostalgia anytime you want by going back to watch games from past seasons. I know we just did it with the Case Crew 2 game that was just posted. What a fun time rewatching that one. I'd like to thank my co-hosts for today. That was Kevin, Bowen, and Eric. Thank you to our executive producer, as always, Military Police. This has been Romulocks. You've been listening to USL Live.